right, man. Let's go over live review of the Detroit Lions victory over the Los Angeles Rams. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notification, increase your chance, get notifications. We go live or drop video. You want to find me on social media? First link in the description is the link tree. You definitely can find me everywhere there. You can check me out on X, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo, both CJ Good 313, just with the $sign in front of it on Cash App, obviously. Appreciate everybody that supporting the channel. And it was a good game. You know, it was almost had one of those SOL moments. I think a lot of people thought that was coming when they blew that lead. But overall, it was a game in which some of the concerns we had about the team came up as far as, who was going to be that next pass catcher. Khalif Raymond provided absolutely nothing. I didn't see the film to know whether they just looked away from him or, whether he just didn't come through or whatever the situation may have been. But Jamo stepped up and St. Brown Laporta was nowhere to be found. We'll talk about the Bucks game, probably do a live show Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. Not pretty sure yet, but the preview prediction video will be up tomorrow. So we open up a touchdown favorite versus the Bucks. They had a very good performance, albeit from the rebuild Washington Commanders, and that's what it is. They are in a rebuild as of right now, and that is fine. So, obviously, somebody said after the game that Ben Johnson said this was going to be an ugly victory for the Detroit Lions. But let's start it off with y'all boy Dan and the speech he gave after the game. So, I found it kind of interesting to say he was going to say this: win, lose, or draw. But, I'm pretty sure most of y'all have probably seen that. If you haven't, here go the debut of this at the locker room speech.
A win is a win. That team gave us everything they had, man. They did. They threw it at us, man, and give them some credit. They did, man. They laid it on the line all the way. But the bottom line is, man, it's hard to break us now. It's hard to break us. As a matter of fact, you ain't going to do it. And we just had to buy our time, find our rhythm. Defense, we held. Fox, what an outstanding freaking punt to help our defense. In offense, we do what we got to do to get in overtime. And then we win the toss. Golf, nice job. We go all the way down. That's a damn good win. That's number one. We're 1-0 right now. I got 2 game balls. First one is this, man. You talk about closing out the game. And I said it the other day, somebody asked me, I said, man, you can start the game with this guy and you can finish it with him. And anything in between on offense, Dave Montgomery.
Nah, look. You know I'm saying? We was in that fighting for a while, man, and it was ugly for a little minute. Before the game, Ben said that it sure enough ain't gonna be our best game, it ain't gonna be the perfect game, but shit, we finished it together as a team.
Defense, man, this guy was all over the freaking field, man. Play after play after play, in the pass game, the run game, Alex Anzalone.
Hey, this is just one win. I look at it every year, I just look at it a quarter at a time, 4 games at a time. Let's go 3-1, 4-0 each quarter. It's a long-ass season. This is just one. Keep it going.
Damn good win, gentlemen. That's the good news when you don't play your best ball and you still find a way to win, because we'll clean the rest of this up, all right, and we'll be better. I don't care whether we won or lost this game. I was going to tell you the same thing. We got to get better every week. Just a little bit better next week, and we'll be good. All right, great win, man. Great win, because it's a win in the NFL. Break it down.
Hey, a win's a win in this league. They're hard to come by, especially against the good teams. Let's go. Lions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Lions! There it is. 5!
So there you have it. I mean, it was a good game, and David Montgomery said it. He said it that it was, Ben said it wasn't going to be their best game or their ugly, or it wasn't going to be their greatest game, and I think they knew that because they traded continuity, camaraderie in for safety. And what I mean by that is they just chose not to play the preseason. And that's fine and dandy. And that is not going to be the only clips we play through this episode. So make sure you thumbs up the video, share the video, and share it with somebody. And what you got here was um I did the takeaway video. Pretty much people liked it. I mean, first thing I want to address is a lot of people talking about the pass rush is still kind of a concern. I don't see it as a concern. They got a lot of pressure. Matthew Stafford just understands how he had to get the ball off fast, and he made some unbelievable throws. I mean, the throw to Robinson, I think, on a little shallow crosser route, he made another great throw and a great move by Tyler Johnson, which the hypocrisy in that was that Tyler Johnson and what's the dude name, and Carlton Davis used to play in Tampa together. He made a great play, and tackling is terrible across the league. When you start off, tackling is going to be terrible. Let me say that first and foremost. Tackling is going to be terrible. This year they don't do a lot of padded practices. They don't do as much two-a-day in padded practices as they used to. So, this is usually what you're gonna get, terrible tackling. And the Lions was a little bit off. Carlton Davis dropped a pick. Brian Branch dropped a pick that should have been on the sideline. And Stafford, played really, really well. He threw some balls and his receivers made him look good. But for the most part, that defensive line beat Stafford up. He knew he was in the fight. He wasn't like Brock Purdy last night. Boy, Brock Purdy was looking crispy out there. Brock Purdy was looking like he ain't never been touched. Y'all, I seen that game last night. I thought the Jets defense was about something. I heard they let a lot of them guys go across their defensive line, though. So, and for Hassan Reddick, they got him. And then they thought they was just not going to pay him. It's crazy. They thought they was just not going to pay him. To me is wild. But they made some noise. Davenport got back there, and believe it or not, Anazurike, I want to make sure I get his name right, and I'm going to do a video on this tomorrow. That's why I kind of got this in the queue. He was amongst the best pass rushing interior defensive linemen in week 1. So, I mean, I know they, everybody wants to measure, pass rush by just sacks, and sacks is a great indication, is a great indicator. Having those sacks is a great indicator, but once you continue to look, Anzarike, he was amongst the best pass rushing interior defensive linemen in week 1. He got back there, they wreaked havoc, they messed Stafford up. They tore Stafford out the frame. He just was, he knew to get the ball off, and that's veteran quarterback. You see somebody like Shedeur Sanders who really don't understand that you can't hold the ball and make every play down the field, and that's what he gonna have to learn. Shadeur's gonna have to learn, if they can't run the ball in Colorado, he got to get the ball out hot. He got to do the short passing game. That's an extension of the running game. You know what I'm saying? And that's the difference between a young guy like Shedeur Sanders and a guy like Matthew Stafford. Stafford understands I can't hold this ball to chuck it down. I got to get it to my playmakers, and my playmakers got to make plays. But it came at an expense. He still got hit. And you could say, well, they had a messed up off the defensive line and this, that, and the third, and he still got whooped on. Remember that time we played Seattle, I think it was last year, and their offensive line was hurt, and they threw a field day on us. They are professionals, and they get paid too. But per Pro Ball Focus, Anzarike was tied with 6 other players for second amongst interior defensive linemen with 2 quarterback pressures. The only player that had more week 1 was Seattle's defensive tackle Leonard Williams with 5. In addition, Anzarike was tied for 4th with Washington's Daron Payne and I think at one point we was trying to get him. Remember, he could have been a free agent at the position with 5 total quarterback pressures generated. 3 players tied for the lead with 6. Williams and the Giants' Dexter Lawrence was, and Chris Jones, 2 of the best in the league. So, at the end of the day, once you start looking at these things, he showed up and he showed out. He showed up and he showed out, and this is what you've been looking for. And then you got to understand too, this buys DJ Reader an opportunity to get healthy. So now we got this going on. We ain't got to rush DJ Reader back. We ain't got to rush Broderick Martin back. Makai Wingo, he made a play. He made a play. So at the end of the day, that defensive line was pretty thin. You got to understand, Broderick Martin on IR, DJ Reader didn't play. So the defensive line, that's what nobody talk about. It literally, James Houston wasn't active. I don't even know if Josh Pascal made a play. I didn't hear his name called out there, not to my recollection. So this is what you want to see, wreaking havoc. And now, obviously, Lee McNeil probably didn't make the noise that you were expecting him to make, because guess what? With Lee McNeil, he's now a known commodity. So people are gonna start to slide his way. They're gonna look to double team him and stop him. Like, oh, he's just more than a run plugger. He's an actual, he can get up the field. So now that opens up for Davenport. This opens up for Anzarike and everybody else. But they were standing at that defensive tackle position. Say what you want to say. They was very thin at that position, and now you got guys like him, showing merit and showing up, and they showing up and they showing out. So, what I noticed, that defensive line, they wreaked havoc. But, and also on my other channel, I did the NFL vertical live stream. Check that out at Goodfella TV. I did that this morning, reacting to week 1. The funny thing about sacking the quarterback now is hard, because they got a strike zone. You can't hit them here. You can't hit them below the knee. But the thing about it is, if you hit them here, and you don't get your helmet off to the side, or if your helmet's on center line and you hit them here and any part of your helmet hit their face, smash them up, that's a penalty. So when you sack on these quarterbacks, it's really harder to sack the quarterback now than ever, because I only have a small space to hit them. Can't hit them below the knees. I can't hit them above the sternum for real, because unless I got my head to the side, if I come straight like a missile and I hit him here, I'm probably gonna hit his face mask, hit his chin strap. So it's hard to bring these quarterbacks down. You got I like Josh Allen, who's a fucking running back playing quarterback, and I got to tackle him like a quarterback. Of course he's going to be elusive. Bernardo, salute. He said Jamo said it, and apparently Dave Montgomery said it right there, but shout out to Almighty CJ. Bernardo, salute. He said they cast the money man, salute. So yeah, man, and it was one of those games. It was one of those games in which the Lions find a way to lose. This is one of those games where the Lions find a way to lose the game. And they found the way to win it. You could say it was 17-3. The Rams came all the way back. And then what was it? The Lions, they had a 3-and-out, could have had a pick on Jared Goff. And then you turn around and, they march down the field. And then the best thing to do that tells you the thing that is really turning around in overtime, they win the toss. And what do? They don't get cute. They don't get fancy. They go north and south. They say, we're going to put a hat on the hat, your 11 versus our 11, and we're going to move you down the field against your will. And that's what they did. And that's kind of the difference with LA. And that's kind of one of the issues with Sean McVay, is that Sean McVay, and the difference between him and Kyle Shanahan will keep running the ball on you all day. Sean McVay like to get cute and throw the ball a lot, and Ben Johnson had a tendency to do a lot of throws on first down last year. He threw it to open up the run. This year, I think, with them kind of shading and playing Amon-Ra St. Brown and playing Sam Laporta, a little bit different, which they're going to see that all year. Not everybody's going to have the personnel to defend that. But now what you're seeing now is that, hey, guess what? Let's just get back to old school football. Zeifert is a beast. Zeifert on that last drive and Penny Sewell, they were moving men against their will. They were moving mountains against their will. And that's what you want to do. Sometimes the Lions might just have to get back to bare basics. You got great blocking receivers, as San Francisco does. You have a great pass catching blocking tight end, a couple of them, Brock Wright, and you got Sam Laporta. How about we just put a hat on the hat? You got about 4 capable running backs, Vacky, Reynolds, Gibbs, and Montgomery. And another thing I think a lot of people ain't really talking about, I don't think a lot of people are talking about, is it still seems that Montgomery is still on somewhat of or Gibbs is somewhat of a pitch count. You hear that they want to crank up the volume on Jahmyr Gibbs this year, but it seems, to me, looking at Jahmyr Gibbs run the football, it doesn't look like he's 100% healthy. I don't think Gibbs is all the way healthy. And obviously they said he was about 80 to 100%. So Gibbs wasn't healthy, and they kind of went with Montgomery early, and then the middle chunk they went with Gibbs, and to close the game out they went with Montgomery, and I believe Montgomery ended up with 190, I think 91 yards. So that's the crazy thing about it, because once you kind of start to look at it, maybe down the stretch of the season they'll start stepping it up and feeding Jahmyr Gibbs a little bit more. But it kind of seemed like there still was a healthy balance between the two. So yeah, Montgomery had 17 carries, Gibbs had 11. So it was a discrepancy of 6 in the rushing category. And Gibbs also had 4 targets out the backfield, and Montgomery had 1. So it was, like I said before, and Gibbs had 34 yards through the air. So you're gonna see him more in the passing game, a lot more. But really, it seems like they still, in situations, they still gonna ride with David Montgomery a little bit more. Maybe till we see Jahmyr Gibbs get a little bit healthy, maybe till we get to the midseason, and then you see Jahmyr Gibbs may pick it up again. That might be my personal opinion on it. You may see him go to another gear and start really, really running the football. So, but yeah, that was just something that he didn't really look 100% himself. He looked a lot more patient. His vision looked a lot more better going into year 2, and they trying to get him involved in the passing game a little bit. He had a touchdown, I believe he slipped. So I think they still kind of trying to ease him and transition him into the game. But I mean, once again, Alec Anazzoni switching back over to defense. He played very, very well. Anazzoni played very, very well out there. I mean, he set the tone early on. The linebackers played well. Defensively, they played well. And if you notice, a lot of what LA did was a lot of motion. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of motion. When you start talking about a lot of motion going on, receivers moving, they for the most part scheme their receivers open. This is why he runs a 4-6 or he runs a 4-5, or it's not really about that. Once you get these guys moving in motion pre-snap, it's hard to defend them. They'll move in motion, they go to the boundary, and then they'll break to the inside, and then man beaters, and they know how to sit in zones, and they know how to they just know how to play football, they receivers and all that type of stuff. And then you got burners like DeMarcus Robinson out there, and obviously Tyler Johnson is a burner as well too. So yeah, that was tough when you're not tackling at a premium and it's early in the season and you're not doing those things. That's a tough team to defend, because they do a lot of scheming, they do a lot of motion, they do a lot of moving him in the slot and bunching him up and lining him in the backfield. So they do a lot of irky-turky things. And I think one of the things that I haven't really seen people talk about, one of the things that changed the game around for the Rams was they started going up tempo in the Lions defense. You had they were staying at the defensive tackle position for this game. Obviously, a lot of their defensive backs are coming off injuries or didn't really have a full camp. The only one out there that started in defensive backfield that had a full camp was Amick Robertson. You got to remember, Carlton Davis missed the end of camp with a hamstring. Terrion Arnold missed the end of camp with a chest. Kirby Joseph came into camp with a hip. Brian Branch came into camp with an ankle. You didn't have Iffy. You know what I'm saying? So once you start to look across that defensive backfield, it was a lot of rust out there as well too. It was a tremendous amount of rust in that defensive backfield once you start looking. So a lot of those guys was just, resting and getting mental reps. So, like I told you, it's going to take about a good 8 weeks before that defensive backfield started to gel. I didn't really think this play on the screen was a pass interference, but, if they consider face guarding a pass interference, I guess it is, man. They mad because he knocked his hands down. It's like you can't even touch the receiver no more. But I didn't really feel like it should have been a pass interference, man. I shouldn't have to turn my head around to find the ball. I should be able to face guard. Why? What's the problem with that? I don't see the problem with it. That's up to the receiver to get open, but they called it. And Terrion got to learn that in the NFL, you can't be as handsy with the receivers as you could be in college, because it's a business. They want to see more touchdowns scored. So, yeah, that's something to look at as well, too. But for the most part, Carlton Davis made some plays. He could have got the pick, and we wouldn't have to worry about going overtime if Jake Bates would have made that kick, but he dropped it. Then he got injured towards the game. But, he played well. He made some plays and stuff of that nature. But, that's a tough team to defend against, especially when you're not tackling at a premium. Who is Demont? I don't know who Demont is. What's up? What's up, Carl Johnson? I don't know who that Carl Johnson is. He said, "Raw podcast. This is why I said it's going to be hard for Gibbs to get 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rush, 1,000 rush receiving. He doesn't get enough touches to do it. He will probably lose that Razor to St. Brown, and absolutely because he's splitting the carries, and then who knows if he physically can hold up and do it." And I don't think the Lions really want to find out. You want him racking up the yardage when it counts the most. And that's when you get the November, December, January, and God willing, February. Shout out to the Raw podcast. This week was the lowest amount of passing touchdown thrown in over 7 years. And that's because nobody is playing their guys in preseason anymore. I mean, McCarthy went down in preseason. I believe the Rams didn't play their starters. The Lions didn't play their starters. It looked like the Dolphins didn't play their starters in preseason either. It was a lot of these guys got off to slow starts. But Anthony Richardson, Jesus Christ, I think he might be the most physically gifted quarterback I probably ever seen. Like, dude, that dude is a freak of nature. That 60-some yard pass he threw to Alec Pierce off the back foot. Oh man. Anthony Richardson is just physically different. If he can physically hold up, he's only had 17 starts since high school, so he ain't playing a ton of football neither. He's physically more gifted than CJ Stroud. He's just not here. That's what Stroud is. He know how to play the game from the line of scrimmage. He know the coverages and all that. Because he played a lot more football, but that was another good one. But back to the Lions, I think that defensively, it's going to take some time. I think the defensive backfield did better than I thought they would. Next week you're going to see Godwin, slot God, Mike Evans. He had his way with Cam Sutton. I mean, he was his bottom B in his jail cell last year, and so it'll be a nice test. I mean, Carlton Davis, is he healthy going back against Tampa? So they know they're going to try to attack him. He going to try to get an interception. He played a ton of Mike Evans, last year. So honestly, Amick played a solid game. Branch played a solid game. Kirby got a pick. So yeah, it's going to take some time for them to kind of jail a little bit, but you can already tell they played the ball a lot better last year. They played the ball in the air a lot better than the DBs last year did. So yeah, Stafford threw a couple could have been picks, and so did Jared Goff threw one at the end that was dropped. Because he shares the backfield duties Montgomery, it's going to be hard, and it is. He said I said Anthony Richardson was going to be nice. He definitely is if he can hold up. He said he can B. Taylor said he can do a 360 windmill done. I think I did see him do that. People was dishing Anthony Richardson because he didn't have a ton of experience. It's like when you look for a job and shit, oh man, you got to have a bachelor's degree to make $50,000, but you got to have 10 years experience. You just be looking at these companies like, what are they talking about? What are you talking about? Like, it's wild what they asking for. And the average monkey can do these jobs, the average monkey can do these jobs. But yeah, and I think, the most anticipated thing I think people wanted to see from the Detroit Lions was the defensive backfield. And I think the most stable position they had that I think nobody really was pretty much worried about was the linebacker core. Wasn't nobody worried about the linebacker core, The linebacker core, they did what they were supposed to do. Anzalone set the tone. Barnes was in there. Jack was in there. Rodrigo got in there. He chased down Tyler Johnson, I believe. So we really wasn't concerned about them. But, will we, eventually, when will we see the defensive line at full capacity? James Houston was a late scratch. So I don't know if he got to get his mind right. When will we see DJ Reader? After how Angelrique played, do we really need to see him anytime soon? I say yes, because you don't have nothing else behind him. Can you trust a guy that we never really heard of, Kyle Pico? You don't have Broderick Martin because he out for a few weeks. Who knows when he's ready to return? So really, yeah, you do need him out there. You do need him out there, but they didn't really need him for this game. But they thin at the position. Obviously they traded Isaiah Buggs to the Chiefs. Benito Jones is gone. He provided a lot of good run stopping last year. So, Yeah, eventually they need DJ Reader, and if they get DJ Reader, then they keep them. They line up a lot more fresh, a lot more fresh. So I'm guarantee you, Lee McNeil seeing a lot more attention down there, and with them not knowing a lot about Levi Onwuzurike, he's and Marcus Davenport, they was the ones who got it off the free. They was the ones that was seeing one-on-ones. They was the ones that was seeing they were the ones that was seeing a lot of single blockers, and the ones that probably was getting doubled and slid to and all that stuff with Lee McNeil and Aiden Hutchinson. So and Lee McNeil has now got a name in the game, and Onwuzurike is now time to make his name in the game. And you may see James Houston get cut too, and I'm gonna tell y'all why, because if he don't get it together or whatever going on with him, once Roger Martin and DJ Reader come back, you're going to see Levi Onwuzurike play a lot of defensive end too. Who else played defensive end? James Houston. So you're going to see him play a lot on the end too. You're going to see lineups with Hutchinson, McNeil, Reader, and Levi Onwuzurike on the defensive line together. So James Houston got to get his act together. Whatever he missing, and they need that speed. You know, Davenport bringing speed and power. Aiden Hutchinson bringing everything. Onwuzurike bringing speed and power, but they don't really have that true speed rusher like that, you know, and that's what James Houston brings. So, you know, I don't know if it's complacency. I don't know if it feel like entitlement because he had a good year, but he got to get back on it. Could it be the injury? But he a pure speed rusher. You know what I'm saying? You know, so they need that. They need that. Montgomery is underrated, just cool and violent. Yeah, Chicago, I don't know why Chicago let him go. And I talk about the other NFC North games here, so shortly. I don't know why they let Montgomery go, and then they go get DeAndre Swift, and they go get Keenan Allen. They get Romeo Dozier, what's his name? He got injured already. They go get they got DJ Moore. Chicago play outside until they get that new stadium with a dome. They should be looking to hand the ball off. And you think about they top two running backs, they let Foreman go, and you get DeAndre Swift, which, you know, he can run between the tackles and do everything, but he don't hold up. And then Khalil Herbert is a scat back. So Chicago, they really built that team for Caleb Williams to throw the football around. And Jesus Christ, I watched that game, and I say this. Tennessee probably got one of the better defenses. Like, if you say, what is it? 32 teams in the NFL? They definitely top half defensively. I mean, it may even be a little bit higher. Quarterback kind of hurt that. Their quarterback single-handedly lost that game, and get a block punt, lost that game for them. But Tennessee got one of the better defenses. When you talk about Jeffrey Simmons, but one of the top 5 defensive interior linemen. L'Jarius Sneed is over there. I mean, they got rid of Caleb Farley out of Virginia Tech. Yeah, that's messed up. I think his parents or something died or whatever. I mean, they got a bunch of ballers over there, man, and in Tennessee. So, you know, it's all about the quarterback. Offensively, they good too. You know, Tony Pollard, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins. I know you're a little bit hobbled. Traylon Burks. So really, Tennessee gave Chicago that win on Saturday. I will say that first and foremost, but Caleb Williams, they have not set him up for success. You know, no matter who you is, number 1 overall pick, whoever you is, you want to have him lean on that running game. And Jesus Christ, they leaned on passing the ball, and it didn't work for him. You know, so Chicago's organization, when it came to quarterbacks, I think they messed up more quarterbacks than helped them. The first thing you want to do is, you know, when they got rid of David Montgomery, that made no sense. Montgomery had a ton of success over there. And, you know, they were supposed to go get another David Montgomery. And they didn't do it. So Caleb Williams is literally they set him up in the pass-happy offense, playing outside in the cold. He is from D.C., but they haven't set him up for success. They haven't set him up for success. And I watched that game. They lost that game. You know, early on, they had a ton of success, a ton of field position. As the game turned, they should have got ran. Tennessee should have got ran off the field. Should have ran Chicago off the field. The Cardinals should have ran Buffalo off the field. Jacksonville should have ran Miami off the field. Them 3 games in which they all should have ran them off the field, and they fumbled the bag. They fumbled the bag for sure. They fumbled the bag. So my impressions of Caleb Williams, it's hard to tell, but what I will say, Chicago has not set him up for success because they should have set him up with a run game. You got the defense, set him up with the run game, and they haven't done that yet. They need a David Montgomery type running back, and them letting go of Montgomery, I think, was foolish. Trubisky was never the same, or whoever was the quarterback. I think it was Trubisky. I love what Jamo's doing. Hopefully, he can get 1,000 yards and stay healthy full season. And a lot of people seen him get injured. He went down. A lot of people held their breath, and they was like, "Oh my God," And hopefully, Puka Nacua makes a full recovery. But he got up, hit Tre'Davious White with a double move. Tre'Davious White at one point was one of the best corners in the league, but had 2 ACL surgeries, and maybe he should have tackled Jameson Williams, but the double move he hit him with, unfortunately for that pass, Jared Goff still couldn't hit him in stride. And Jared Goff, that's another thing I want to talk about. Jared Goff threw some ugly fucking passes Saturday, bro. Sunday night. Man, that ball was not coming out of his hand comfortably. Jared Goff threw a couple ducks. He threw quite a few ducks. Saturday, bro. Sunday, and I keep saying Saturday. The ball was not coming out of his hand comfortably at all. That touchdown he threw to Jamo had to turn to get that ball. I say that he had to turn to get that ball. So, yeah, the way Jared Goff, I don't know what it was. They wasn't playing outside. I don't think they got him in outdoor games. But Jared Goff, that ball wasn't comfortably out of his hands, He seemed a little bit off. Obviously, he didn't play preseason, so he didn't have a rhythm like that. But Jamo had to do a 180 just to catch that ball and turn around and still smoke Tre'Davious White. So that lets you know what his speed is about. Now, he hit him on that over route. He hit him in stride. He hit him in stride. But, Jared Goff was a little bit off Sunday night, too. He said, I think we'll be okay, but we need another receiver. We got options. Not every team go have the personnel stop Brown and Laporta. I think the good thing is the Lions can beat defenses with a ton of multiple plays. They just copying what Chicago did to them last year. That's it. So now what's your counter to that? Is it going to be bunching them and stacking them together? Is it going to be Ahmad St. Brown dominating on the outside? What are they going to do to counteract what they're doing to the middle of the field? Is it going to be doing more shallow crosses route, double crossing routes, more double drags? What are they going to do to defeat that? And if they're going to play, they're going to suck everything in the middle of the field, then they begging you with the out routes. They begging you with the comeback routes. They begging you to stretch the defense out wide. So, in my humble opinion, yeah, they probably pretty much could assume this was coming. And this is why it's so important to find another receiver and who's going to be ready. Will Donovan Peoples-Jones get his shit together? Will Tim Patrick pick up the playbook and get ready? Or will it be Allen Robinson to get ready? Or will they go out there and try to make a deal for somebody? He said that was the White Lions fans, homie. That said what? He said at the game, Amar Ra was cooking them outside corners. The only reason he wasn't getting looks is because Jamo was doing his thing. He had way more he had way more separation, and maybe they go on film and they see that. I didn't really pay attention to it, but we're seeing. Got to remember that wasn't their best cornerback, one of the best cornerbacks neither. So, a lot of their corners got injured. Shout out to Beast TV. He said Lions seem very high on Levi Zorky. He seems like he's starting to turn things around. His back is better. Yeah, B Taylor, they was talking about him not going to be good. You talking about Jameson Williams, or you talking about Anthony Richardson? And yeah, that's easy to say when you don't have the experience. That's what he's talking about. When you don't have the experience to do something, that's easy when you go look and say, well, he don't have the experience, or he too young to do this, or this is impossible. You know what I'm saying? This is impossible. He's too young to do this, or he's too this to do that. Like, yeah, it's easy to say, oh, man, we never seen it before, so it can't be done. So I get it. He don't never stay healthy neither, but Anthony Richardson is nice. Montgomery got that dog in him. Yeah, I don't understand why Chicago let him go. They underestimate how hard Trent Richardson or Anthony Richardson studies the game. I think he meant Anthony. Trent Richardson out down here bad. Nigga probably working at Sally Mae. He ain't look good. Who you talking about? Chicago. Oh, you talking about Caleb Williams? Chicago has never knew how to nurture a quarterback. No way you get away from David Montgomery. Or no way you don't go out there and get Swift and you get a guy like Gus Edwards. You know what I'm saying? That's what they needed, a guy like Gus Edwards. I mean, Dante Foreman was running pretty good last year. I think he got injured this year for somebody. That man Davenport bull rush is absolutely crazy. Oh, he's a physical freak. He just can't stay healthy. That's the only thing wrong with him. He can't stay healthy. He's a freak of nature. Remember when Vegeta seen Goku? What was Goku fighting again? He's a freak of nature. That shit was funny, dog. The Namek saga was crazy, bro. That was the best Dragon Ball saga. The Namekian saga. Caleb really struggled Sunday, and Tennessee made him look like a rookie. He showed flashes. Tennessee got one of the better defenses. I'm telling you, they just ain't got mayonnaise boy over there that sell the mayonnaise, that promote the mayonnaise. Will Levis just was on. He was point shaving. Caleb will be fine. I ain't sure about that, to be honest. I ain't sure about he gonna be fine. I ain't sure. He do a lot of fucking moving. He do a lot of moving. He ain't gonna sit in that pocket too long. That boy get to moving. And I'm not sure his arm is completely that strong neither. I think he got a nice arm, but I was looking at some of the throws he making. He ain't no Kyler Will. He ain't no Kyler Murray. Caleb just had a bad game first. Now I don't know. The way they set him up with all those receivers and with no run game, he gonna fuck around and get his head cracked. Chicago gonna tear him up too. What they should have done was continue to build that whole line like they did and go get a guy like Gus Edwards, go get a guy like pair him with DeAndre Swift, or go get a power back, pair them together, and they should be running the ball 20 to 30 times a game. He should be making about 10 to 15 important throws, and probably he should be throwing it no more than 20 times a game. When I seen them got all them receivers, I said, they going to get him fucked up. That's the first thing I said, excuse my language. I said, they going to get him toe up. That's the first thing I said. That's the first thing I said. When I seen the way they was building that football team, they did a great job getting the offensive line and all that stuff. When they got DeAndre Swift, and I seen their backup running back was Khalil Herbert, I said, yeah. Yeah. He said, yeah, he threw a lot. Jamo saved him that night. Yeah, he did. He was off. But then again, the Kansas City game, they got off to a slow start. They didn't play in the preseason. So Tennessee just recently signed a lot of great veterans. Yeah, they did. They got to get here. Time to go check about Jeffrey Simons, one of the best in the league. He said, I saw the stat that said Jamo was the first option on 40% of their pass plays. And, hey, they knew they was going to get a lot of double on Mount Brown and double on St. Brown and double on Sam Laporta. So they knew that. He's explosive. So I believe the Bears drafted running back last season, Johnson from Texas. He was the backup to Bijan. Yeah, I don't know who he was. I don't know who he is. Pittsburgh, man. TJ Watt probably best player in the league right now. Not named Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes. Man, bro, TJ Watt, man, he different. TJ Watt, Max Crosby, different. Look like one of them dancing raisins. Stupid. Shout out to the passport hater. So I look at it this way. Defense will try to, but somebody will always be open. They definitely got to find somebody else, though, the ones. They definitely got to find somebody. It might be Tim Patrick. It might be going out there dealing for somebody. He said Snead, Jamal Adams. I think Adams got injured yesterday. Kenneth Murray, the linebacker. Yeah, they got Quadre Diggs. They got a hell of a defense, bro. That defense didn't lose that game yesterday. Block punt. And then Will Levis he threw an underhand on third down. Like, oh, no, bro. Pick six. Levi looking good. Yeah, Anthony Richardson. He didn't have the experience or the reps. But boy, he threw that one to OD or whoever that was. Man. In AFC South gonna be fired because real talk, Jacksonville should have ran Miami up out of Duval County. I mean, out of Dade County as well too. They should have ran them up out of there. And they didn't. Travis Etienne fumbled on the goal line. Trevor Lawrence a baller too. I know they don't like him. Trevor Lawrence a baller. If he was anywhere else, that motherfucker probably had a Super Bowl by now. Jacksonville just one of those fluky places like Detroit, Buffalo. It's just some organizations that's just fluky. Chicago when it comes to quarterbacks. How much PT do you think this Rockstraw gets in his ceiling? I don't know his ceiling, but I don't know how much PT gonna get. But what I tell you is, Carlton Davis ain't gonna stay healthy. We all know that. So Rackstraw gonna get in there and get an opportunity. So we'll see. Real physical corner. Kind of remind you of Carlton Davis. Real physical man corner. Probably gonna take some time to learn zone. I think he'd be all right. He said that little ass bottle of water is gone now. The shit gone now. How is a 16-ounce, 17-ounce bottle of water little? That's crazy. You really is a hater. He said Chicago got Roshan Johnson. They picked in the 3rd round last year. He a power back from Texas behind. I ain't see him yesterday. I ain't see him do a damn thing. Texas ain't had a good running back since Ricky Williams. Like, no, shout out to Bijan. He said the Bears should have signed Fournette. Yeah, I used to like Leonard Fournette. He lazy as fuck, though. He said, right, Chicago always have a decent running backs. Normally, they play outside. Tennessee got some guys. Their defense could give some problems. They come to play us to 4th field. Yeah, Tennessee, they quarterback just dumb. TJ Watt is elite. I don't even know if elite is the word, man. He's superior. Yeah, man. He's superior. He's the superior being of the NFL. It's him, Crosby. Damn, white boys really taking over defensive end. Him, Crosby, the Bosa boys. Micah, Miles Garrett, Aiden Hutchinson. Damn, real talk. Who else we got out there that's good? Oh, shout out to David Ojabo. He got a sack on Thursday night too. Shout out to Ojabo coming off a blown out ACL from Michigan. He got a sack. Got Patrick Mahomes coming off that, so I had to shout him out. Jesus, who else you got? Them really the top pass rushers I can think of right now. Oh, Danielle Hunter. What he do in Houston? I ain't hear his name. Deshaun Watson is done. He's done. Deshaun Watson is done. He just got another lawsuit versus him too. Deshaun Watson is done. Whatever he lost while sitting out, he'll never regain it. It's over with for Deshaun Watson. It's over with. Deshaun Watson is cooked. Ben Simmons will never be the same. Deshaun Watson. That's why I tell y'all, we got to keep our bodies in motion. Get y'all asses in the gym. Don't know what you're doing? Get a Men's Fitness magazine or hire a personal trainer. I think Cleveland made a huge mistake letting Baker go. Watson looked, Baker's balling. Yeah, Baker looked good in Tampa. Baker looked good in Tampa for sure. But don't mean he would have been good in the Cleveland Browns. Anybody would have did that at the time, though. Deshaun Watson, he just looked slow. He looked like, man, might be a curse in Cleveland. I see a lot of people pick the Lions when the Super Bowl is kind of so, man, I ain't talking about that. They make it, they make it. Yeah, the Bosa brothers don't play. They can never stay healthy, but they don't be playing no game. He said this appears to be sabotage route when white people want to give. Man, he put himself in a lot of that position. I was reading happy endings. Like, I didn't know so many dudes got happy endings. I go get massages. I want your happy ending. But you put yourself in those positions, bro. That's what happened. And you put yourself in that position, like he can just straight up, he can buy any chick he want to. So what's the thrill of it for? I don't get that. You go get in the Muling or me like your long time. You get that. You get anyone you want. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about he said Bears drafted Travis Homer, Rashawn Johnson, 6 foot. Man, I ain't seen them play. Let's pull up the stats. I ain't see them ninjas out there. I watched a lot of that game. Homer had 2 carries for 10 yards. Dope. And who was the other dude you say? Roshan Johnson, I ain't seen him out there neither. Roshan didn't even get a carry. So, yup. Travis Homer, dope. It's crazy. I ain't know so many niggas did try, but how do y'all even ask Ling Ling for a happy ending? Daquan Wilshire did a video on it. I said, I'm good on that, bro. No, thank you. No, thank you. I can I can do the I can beat it. No one wants to beat. I can beat it myself if I need to. You want to act tough? Just, oh man, just do it myself. Remember when Uncle Phil and Will got arrested at the Happy Ending massage parlor on Fresh Prince? Hilarious. Texas Supply doing the women, man. And if somebody supply you with some crack, you gonna smoke it? Come on, man. What Pusha T said? Old enough to sell, young enough to sell dope, but old enough that I know better. Real talk. I tell y'all this: if it seemed too good to be true, it's too good to be true. If a girl come up to you like, I want to give you something, it's too good to be true. Walk away. Unless you knew her beforehand, Ninja is too good to be true. Yeah, I'm telling you, if it's too easy, leave it be. It sound. I know if you got that hen dog and y'all Detroit niggas drink Cosmigos and Don Julio in you, you know. But if it's too easy, man, if they make it too easy for you, I'm good, bro. I'm good. Houston Texans settled with those women as well. Is what it is. You should have just said, "Nah, man, I'm gonna go to the bunny ranch and buy me some hoes." Legally, Eli said they solicited that. It's crazy. Got to decline it. You know how many rides they touch per day. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, man. I used to have a homie. I used to work at the plant in the security booth. He used to had the girls come up there like on Sundays because you know it was like slow motion. And he used to pay. He paid them like $20 to go Roski. I said, how many other guys? You know, it's like 10 years ago. How many other guys you think playing 20? Like dudes really don't be thinking, bro. Like horniness is a disability for a lot of guys. Like when you young or you horny, like you always get super desperate horny after 12. Boy, it be having you calling you hoes that you don't got no business. That's why you talk to the ugly girls. That's why you talk to the fat girls and the ugly girls and shit. Because you know on that dry night. You know, when raindrops will fall, you know, they gonna pull up, bring something to eat. You gonna get them something to eat. You feel what I'm saying? That's why, you know, it should be a disability, bro. Who you got, O'Malley or I don't know the dude O'Malley fighting, but I'm watching. I'll tell you that. I'm watching. It's gonna be at the Spear too. That shit gonna be lit. All them lights. Mysteriously invited a lot of his accusers for that opening game that was against Washington. Yeah, and at the end of the day, like if you really hurt and you really like messed up about it, why you going to the game? Women don't have no remorse. They paid them to destroy Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson allowed them to destroy him. Sex workers are some of the most dishonest people. They're gonna do anything for a buck. If they sell it on OnlyFans, you know, or they sell it to you in a strip club, they do anything to feed themselves and feed their family. They're very dishonest people. He said, yeah, the Bears drafted him, but not playing him. He said, if it was too easy, I'm Gucci. You can keep it. Yeah, man. So, yeah, I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you today, man, it's a setup. Y'all see that Memphis girl took them two dudes into the hotel room and then two dudes ran behind them and robbed them? I'm straight, bro. He said it clouds your judgment for real. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you off that lick, man. Hell yeah, you ain't think about doing, you ain't thinking nothing. Sometimes you just be at the crib, you like, damn, I want some. And that's one of the worst feelings when it's late at night. Man, you had you looking deep in your phone. Remember you used to have a black phone book and stuff? You had you looking deep in your phone. Yeah, can't think straight. That shit is a drug. That shit should be a disability, bro. They need love too, yeah. So you got the Namek art, the sale. I don't know. The Namek art was fire, bro. Sale was dope too. But the Namekian shit, man, that's when he was Super Saiyan. That's when you seen the Ginyu Force. Well, I think the Namekian, it was kind of split up to the Namekian and the Frieza saga. I kind of see them all as one, to be honest, but I don't make the rules. But then the Namekian shit, when he came, my favorite part is when he, besides turning Super Saiyan, when he came off the ship, and he came and fucked the Ginyu Force up, man, that shit was epic, bro. That shit was epic, bro. Dragon Ball Z united thugs, nerds, cool kids, jocks, everybody. He got off that shit and he touched Krillin's head. He could see everything Krillin was saying. Hey, Vegeta was hating hard. He was tearing up I think he was tearing up the game. He's a freak of nature. Has he become a Super Saiyan? How could Kakarot if I can do it? Man, that shit, man. Dragon Ball Z, man, was so fire, bro. He said Dynamic Arc was the peak of Dragon Ball. The Saiyan Saga, second. Yeah, the Saiyan Saga was fire too. The Cell Saga was fire too. Majin Buu it was tight. It kind of got a little cheesy there. Yeah, the Majin Buu Saga was kind of cheesy a little bit, but it was dope though. But yeah, the Saiyan Saga was fire too. Yeah, that shit was fire too. He said the Android Saga was underrated. I never seen Vegeta get beat like because if you watch the original Dragon Ball and from time to time I'll rewatch them all again. The original Dragon Ball, Goku is what allowed the androids to come back. So yeah, he allowed them to come back, bro, because he didn't destroy the Red Ribbon Army. Yup, Dr. Gero's army. He could have destroyed them and he didn't do it. But Gohan Super Saiyan Suga too, yeah, when he had the lightning around him, yeah, peak Gohan, and then he turned into a little peon thanks to Chi-Chi. Jonathan Majors situation happened to Ant-Man Flam. They were stuck with the contract. Yeah. Jonathan Majors, rule number 1, don't mess with women you work with. It's hard to do because you form an emotional connection and all that, but man, yeah, if you got a chick you work with, you got to make sure I ain't saying I hadn't done this before, but you got to make sure they solid. Like if y'all just kicking it, you gotta be understanding they just kicking it. But yeah, also let me speak on Minnesota. Minnesota played. I'll talk about Green Bay real quick. I got any questions? I answer them. Minnesota played. This was a nasty. Daniel Jones is just trash. Minnesota defense took over. Sam Darnold was like 18 for 18 at one point, or 17 for 17 at one point, and he looked great out there. Aaron Jones, former Packer running back, looked great. They just cooked him in for the most part. Daniel Jones threw picks. They don't have a running game. Malik Neighbors had more success than Marvin Harrison Jr. did, but yeah, and their defense was solid, and overall, Daniel Jones, you see why the quarterback get the grunt of the success and the grunt of the blame is because it affects the whole thing. So Minnesota, they got on the board and, they're going to be a solid team. If Sam Darnold continue to play how he played, he might play himself into a new contract for a new team. So he was he the number 1 overall pick or something like that? Top 2 or 3 out of UFC for a reason. Yeah, he was third for a reason. So yeah, Minnesota, you might not write them off right now, but then because I watched a lot of that game, and boy, Jesus Christ, I don't know. And I watched a lot of this game, and Jordan Love gonna be out 3 to 6 weeks, maybe longer, maybe shorter. One of the deficiencies that Shannon Sharp pointed out with him, he threw off the back foot too much. They got a bunch of weapons. They had a good balance of run. He threw it, 34 times, 35, including Malik Willis, 1 throw, and 16 carries for Josh Jacobs, and 14 for Emmanuel Wilson. So they had 35 pass attempts to 21 rushes. So that's not really bad, and they got a number of receivers who can get the job done. But as of right now, they both threw Jalen Hurts threw 2 interceptions. And the Philadelphia Eagles defense still looks suspect a little bit. They only sacked him 1 time, and the field was shaky, but Saquon, I knew what he was going to do. 24 carries, 109, 2 TDs. I think he caught a touchdown too. So, for Philadelphia, just continue to etch out identity offensively and defensively just to be half decent. You know what I'm saying? Gardner Johnson got cooked out there. So really no Hassan Reddick. That's going to hurt. And Jalen Carter needs some help across that line. So, to be real, they'll get Devin Smith back or Devin White back. So we'll see. But to be honest, Green Bay got a good team. I knew they would be contending for the top, but they'll still be in it to win it. They'll still be in it to win it. But yeah, they have a good team, and I'm not gonna write them off just yet. But Jordan Love, they was making death threats towards Jalen Carter. I don't think that was called for, to be honest. But yeah, you look how many first round picks Green Bay got across their defense is fucking hilarious. It's like 7 or 8 first round picks across that defense. When you start talking about Jair Alexander, Quay Walker, Rashad Gary, You know what I'm saying? They got 1,000 of them dudes. Lucas Van Ness, Preston. You know, I don't think Preston Smith was a first round pick. They got a bunch of them. They got a bunch of first round picks across that defense, man. So I think they end up being all right in the long haul. But but other than that, man, I think that the Lions got a long way to go. The Packers would be still being in the end. And I won't say count on Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? Sam Darnold look good. And the Giants don't have a bad defense. Pretty good, to be honest. Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, my boy Kayvon Thibodeau, who I wanted over Aiden Hutchinson, which I take that back now. The main situation is exactly a reason why my parents told me not to mess with the milk. I say this, that can happen with any type of woman, but it's more likely to happen with that type of woman. Yep. They more likely they're gonna take a woman's word over yours, but definitely if she is that complexion, they definitely will. So I agree with your parents. He said, I work with all women. You got to have discipline as well as me. Yep. And they even just discipline not to touch women either. You know what I'm saying? Or not to, have sexual intercourse. They test your emotional intelligence too. They test you not to get angry. And when you can control your emotions around a woman, that's when you the man. I see why neighbors didn't want to go there. Giants made the mistake of not bringing back Barkley. Jones ain't it. I mean, and they could have went to got another quarterback too, to be honest. I mean, they could have got Mac Jones. Let's be real. They could have just got Mac Jones and rocked out with Mac Jones. They could have rocked out with Jameis. They could have rocked out with Tyler Huntley. They could have rocked out with Tyrod Taylor was better than him. They let him walk over to the Jets. They could have got a number of quarterbacks that would have been better than him. Real talk. They could have got a number of quarterbacks. They could have got Gardner Minshew. Gardner Minshew would have made a bunch of money in New York in advertisement. Barkley would have a big year if he stays. Yeah, DeAndre Swift had a big year behind that offensive line. It's the second best line in the league. Bo Nix, Tebow. What did he do Sunday? I watched a little bit of that game. I knew he wasn't shit. I could have told you that coming into that game. Seattle was struggling. They had like 2 safeties in the first half. Shit, the Broncos made it a game at the end, it looked like. Ooh, he was terrible. 26 for 42, 138, 0 for 2. He rushed for a touchdown. Josh Reynolds had 45 yards catching the receiving. Jesus Christ, that's horrible. Geno didn't do much better. Kenneth Walker saved today. My boy Charbonnet scored, but yeah, Jesus Christ. Bo Nix was Bo ass. Bo Nix was Bo ass. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you got to understand you can be disciplined and currently and then go back 20 years like Cosby. And yeah, that's true. That's true. He said Seattle DBs, ball hawks. Yeah, that's true. He said once again they rounded up women when it was big contract involving, man, Deshaun Watson threw his career away for some ass. You think Atlanta will play Phoenix? Cousins coming off an Achilles, and he didn't get no work in preseason. Y'all got to be patient. So he coming off that Achilles, bro. So and they just paid him all that money. He gonna have to die out there before they throw Penix out there. Hell no. I keep playing Kirk Cousins. It's gonna take some time. Pittsburgh got one of the best defenses in the league. Absolutely. Pittsburgh got one of the best defenses in the league. So yeah, shit, that ain't nothing. You coming off all that injury and all that. Hell yeah. That's gonna take some time. So yeah, be patient with Kirk. Eric said, what's good? Everyone's so good. He said, what's up with all these women having conversations with these women and they want to have babies with you? This conversation happens today with me. He said, what's up with these women having conversations with these women and they want to have, I don't know, man. Baby is a new way to financial freedom. Yep. You better wipe your dick up. Your dick had the hiccups. If you rich, you marry you, get a prenup. What Boosie say? Yeah, having a baby is an additional income for them. You know what I'm saying? Come on. So you got to be careful who you have a baby by. What's going on, Benjamin Foe? He said, "What's going to pay attention most? What you going to pay attention most next Sunday game?" Oh man, I ain't even looked at the slate Sunday. That's a great question. Let's see what we got going here. Oh, but Thursday gonna be a movie. Tyreek, I got arrested. And he definitely didn't handle that situation like he should have. He was irritated, but it is what it is. Them cops, some of them, the cops that choke slammed them need to be fired. That's a good one. Ain't really no good games on Sunday for real. None of these motherfuckers I want to see. New Orleans and Dallas, I guess. I always want to see Jay Daniels play. Tampa, Detroit, we in it. We gonna watch that. Oh damn. Love ain't playing. The Rams of Arizona be a good one. There's some shitty ass games, boy. Boy, it's some shitty ass games on Sunday, my nigga. Hold on. I ain't gonna cap. Ain't none of them games I seen. It's worth the damn. On paper, this is a shitty ass slate. Other than Miami and that shouldn't even be on the Thursday. Miami and Buffalo, that's gonna be crack. New Orleans and Dallas would be all right. Tampa, Detroit would be cool. Jordan Love not playing versus Indianapolis gonna hurt the mystique. New York and Tennessee, that'll be a solid game. Minnesota, San Francisco, they can sim that shit. Seattle, New England, they can keep that. Giants and the Commanders, they can keep that. LA and Carolina, they can keep that. Cleveland and Jacksonville will be okay. That's why the ticket's only $30. But Las Vegas and Baltimore, I always want to see Lamar play, but they can keep that. This probably be one of the better games of the week. Arizona and LA, Denver and Pittsburgh. It's a defensive fest. Cincinnati, Kansas City. Depends on if T and them boys playing. If T and them ain't playing, yeah. Chicago and Houston will be a good one too. So yeah, I think Chicago, Houston, Kansas City, Cincinnati, LA, the Rams and the Cardinals, Cleveland, Jacksonville, Tampa, Detroit, New Orleans, and Dallas. Derek Carr been hot as fish grease since the end of last season, So he been hot. So let's get that to them. Panthers money line, you smoking crack. Who they playing? Smoking crack. Who they playing again? Oh man, hell no. Oh, because LA crabbing across the country don't matter. Quit ducking the fade and Madden, CJ. Boy, I ain't even turned that shit on. I got it sitting right over there. You can get it. No diddy. I run with Detroit, Jacksonville, and Atlanta. Falcons versus Eagles. Is that on the slate? Did I skip over that? I must have skipped over that one. Oh, that's Monday night. My bad. Oh, absolutely. That's the one. That's the one. Hell yeah. I like to go to that game, but the games I watch Atlanta Eagles, Chicago, Houston, Cincinnati if they receivers play versus Kansas City. They got that early in the season. LA, Arizona. I'll say the Jets and the Titans. Tampa, Detroit, New Orleans, Dallas. And like I said, Derek Carr has been going crazy since the end of last season. So I think about it, the West Coast teams is coming easy, but Carolina is bad. They destroyed Bryce. They destroyed Bryce. What's his name? Bryce Young. They destroyed him. So, but yeah, they destroyed him. But that's all I got. I'm about to go live on my other channel in a minute. I gotta let this dog out. When I come back, I'll be live over there. So check it out, Goodfella TV. You want to continue to support the channel, donate to the channel. We're rolling across your screen. Cash App, $ CJ Good 313, Venmo CJ Good 313, PayPal link description. All that's in the link tree. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Like I said, all that's in the link tree. Check out my other channel out, Goodfella TV. That link's in the link tree. You know how to crossplay. I can figure it out. I don't think it's that hard. I got it enabled, so I can figure that out. What you got? PlayStation? I got Xbox. Don't matter. You're gonna get trumped. A couple people want this work. I ain't played a lot of it, but you ain't gonna pop me now. You know, you ain't gonna blow me out, but y'all let me get a rhythm. Ain't too many people going, oh yeah, I'm on Xbox. Can't nobody touch me if I get a rhythm. But other than that, man, appreciate y'all. Just DM me. Peace.